So there was a recent incident in South Africa where a Zimbabwean was killed.
Killed?
Yes. He was killed on the streets by a mob and he was burnt alive. So he was literally burnt.
He was lit on fire.
He was lit on fire. He was burnt to death. The name of this guy is Elvis Nyati. So we want to start this episode by, by just saying we hope Elvis Nyati rests in peace.
Yeah.
That event was very, very shocking. That event was very, very brutal. It was inexcusable, unjustifiable. So, it got me to think about the Zimbabwean situation and the South African situation as well.
Yes.
Zimbabwe and South Africa are neighbors.
Yes.
And they have a historical relationship and a geographical relationship. So we just want to explore those and talk. And as we talk, we're going to start touching on various topics. Right.
Yes.
So that's what this episode is going to be about. We are talking about Zimbabwe and South Africa. We're talking about xenophobia in South Africa as well. We're going to be talking about why so many Zimbabweans find themselves in South Africa.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. When it comes to the history, I am not well versed because I didn't do history in school, but I've read a few things.
Okay.
And you, on the other hand, you're quite a prolific historian, so maybe you can shed some light. But one thing I know is that there are groups back in the day, like back in the day, who moved from the South African region into the Zimbabwean region. So there's an argument to be made that these people are pretty much one people.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. So way back, during the Mfecane skirmishes.
Yes.
A lot of groups, a lot of ethnical groups.
Yes.
Left South Africa, left Zululand.
Yeah.
This place which was called Zululand, in Drakensberg Mountains.
Yeah.
And they were fleeing the wrath of Shaka.
Yeah.
That's a conversation for a different day.
Yeah.
But they were fleeing Shaka. And so, the Ndebeles, for an example, came from Zululand.
Yes.
And formed the Ndebele state on the southwestern part of Zimbabwe. The Bulozi in Zambia, they come from South Africa as well during that time. The Ngoni people in Tanzania.
That's right.
Yeah. And the Serengoni people in Central Africa. So there was this mass migration of people from Zululand into Central Africa and parts of Zimbabwe, parts of Zambia, parts of Mozambique, parts of Tanzania and so forth, who were running away from Shaka.
From Shaka.
So it's called a Bantu migration.
Yes,
there was a Bantu migration.
I still remember reading about that.
The migration of Bantu speaking people.
Yes.
Yes.
Even the languages, they have similarities, a whole bunch of similarities.
Yes.
So how come? I mean, how does that happen? How do you burn someone alive? I mean, someone who has probably the same ancestry as you do.
So, I off the bat, I just have to say a few things. You see, I've always said this, that Black South Africans, they have a certain contradiction in their identity, which they have to really think through. Okay? Because first and foremost, South Africa is a multiracial society.
Yes.
And they call it the Rainbow Nation.
Yeah.
Right?
Different
so
colors.
there are white people in South Africa.
Yes.
There are Indian people
yes.
in South Africa. Then there are black people in South Africa.
That's right.
There could be, other ethnicities or other races in there as well.
That's right.
Right. You have white people from England, from Europe. From England directly. Then you have white people of Dutch extraction, right? The Boers.
The Africans.
And so forth and so on. So South Africa has always been celebrated as a rainbow nation.
That's right.
Right. That's why Mandela got all the kudos that he got, because he managed to unite all these people of different races and different ethnicities into one republic, right? So, but black South Africans have a problem.
Yes.
Black South Africans, first and foremost, the cause of xenophobia in South Africa is that Black South Africans want to say that the economic prosperity or the economic stability that is in South Africa
Yes.
belongs to them.
Oh.
They own it. It's part of it's theirs, right? So Black South Africans distinguish themselves from the rest of the Africans on the continent. Black South Africans would very much want to distinguish themselves from Nigerians and Ethiopians and Somalis and Zimbabweans and so forth, because of the economic status of their countries, of their country compared to other countries.
Other African countries.
Other countries in Africa.
Yes.
I remember when I was in South Africa last year, my taxi driver would say to me, South Africa is the America of Africa. That's what he'd say, It's the America of South Africa. So it's the America of Africa, And I was like, yeah, I agree with you.
It does make sense.
Yeah, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of economic opportunities, employment opportunities.
And maybe diversity as well.
In terms of, material success, it's that. But you also find squatter camps in South Africa. Squatter camps of Black South Africans. Black South Africans who are living in squalid conditions. Mm-hmm. You don't have squatter camps in Zimbabwe.
No.
You don't have squatter camps on most African countries.
That's true, yeah.
But you have squatter camps in South Africa.
And why is that? Do you know why that is?
And, it's because there is just a big gap between the poor and the rich.
And the rich, yeah.
In South Africa. The haves and the have-nots. The blacks and the whites.
Mm-hmm.
There is a big gap there. So the problem is this. Zimbabweans are very educated.
That's right.
The Zimbabwean education system is still very strong, regardless of the economic problems in Zimbabwe. Mm-hmm. So a lot of Zimbabweans, when they go to South Africa, if they are educated, if they have a high school education or a college education or a university education, they qualify for reasonable, dignified employment prospects.
Wonderful.
Right? So you have Zimbabweans who are working in finance, in banking, in mining, in the civil service, in teaching and so forth, teaching nurses, doctors, in healthcare, and many other, sectors of the South African economy.
That's right.
And these Zimbabweans actually occupy very influential positions.
Oh, that's good.
Yes. So that creates a lot of jealousy amongst South Africans, amongst Black South Africans, that these people who left a country which is experiencing severe economic deterioration can come here, they can cross the border, come here, and within a fairly short period of time, you have a very good life here.
Yeah.
Whilst we've been here for generations and we have very miserable lives. Okay.
Very miserable.
So that's a source of extreme jealousy amongst
sense.
blacks.
Yes.
Amongst Black South Africans. They hate it to see a black immigrant migrating to South Africa, getting a job in South Africa, and doing well in South Africa, whilst they have been there for centuries without taking those economic opportunities. You see. So right there's the contradiction of identity I was talking about, is that so you are going to see that dynamic play out. Then you're also going to see a dynamic where Black South Africans hate white South Africans.
Okay.
They don't like white South Africans.
Yes.
They cannot wait to see the day when white South Africans are made to leave the country, or are attacked, or are killed, or are, have their property confiscated from them and redistributed to the black majority.
To the black community.
The black community. So Black South Africans already do not have a good relationship with their white counterparts in South Africa. They go as far back as 1652, as far back as the 17th century to say, well, you white people are supplanters, you white people are colonialists, you came from Europe, you came from Britain, you came from the Netherlands, and you took our land, right? So the black community and the white community in South Africa they cannot really work together very well.
They can't. I mean,
but when a Zimbabwean comes to South Africa, he has no political claim to make. He is an economic refugee.
Yes.
All he cares for is making money, making a living, sending money back home to Zimbabwe to take care of his family at home. Or if he doesn't have a large family in Zimbabwe, all he cares about is establishing himself in South Africa and having a good life. You see. And that's unpalatable to the blacks. So the black community in South Africa is at loggerheads with the white community and the migrant community. Both of those two. On the one hand, the South African blacks are jealous that black Africans from elsewhere, including from Zimbabwe, come and enjoy economic opportunities in South Africa.
Yes.
On the other hand, they are still jealous that the white man came to South Africa and created a country and a civilization with all these opportunities. So the black South Africans want to take economic opportunities away from black migrants. They also want to take economic opportunities away from the whites. When a black South African expresses their sense of superiority against another African, it is because they say our country is the America of Africa because of the white people. So when a black South African is in opposition to a Zimbabwean or to a Nigerian, it's because they are proud of their whites who have made it so.
Yeah.
And at the same time, they are also jealous of the whites. They want to take things from the whites and make the whites to leave. So that's a very, 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 very treacherous, dangerous identity crisis of a black South African.
It is.
And then add on top of that the Malema thing.
Yeah, so what Malema has been saying some very controversial things, right? I mean, I fail to understand really what he's trying to achieve. But you have something to say about that too, don't you?
Malema is the archetype of this contradiction that I'm just describing.
Yeah.
To you. If you want a perfect standing example, perfect living example of this crazy contradiction and confusion, it's Julius Malema. Because he will say, do not kill your brothers, your African brothers, Zimbabweans. He calls them Zimbabweans.
Zimbabweans
are your brothers. The Nigerians are your brothers. Right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, he will say,
kill the Boer.
Kill the Boer, kill the farmer.
The farmer.
Right?
Yeah.
That's crazy. So I was just telling you that as a statesman, as a politician, as a political practitioner, as a leader, you are supposed to observe certain pillars of political theory and civilization.
All right.
One of those is ideas like equality, like human rights, like property rights, like the law, right? If you are a politician and you are an anarchist, you want to suggest the complete destruction of property or the complete upsetting of the economic order, you are not going to last very long because you're going to create a lot of powerful enemies for yourself.
That's right.
Right. And you are also going to be finding yourself to be working against the political powers of the day, who have established these laws and these systems.
Yeah.
Right. So with Malema, first and foremost, let's start with an idea like equality.
Okay.
We live in a society where we believe that people are equal, right? We believe that no matter your place of origin, your ideas, your political affiliation, your race, your color, you are equal.
Yes.
That's a very, very foundational, entrenched, important idea.
Yes.
In politics and in society.
Yeah.
Right? So the moment that you say, one day you say, kill the Boer, kill the farmer, you have unleashed the spirit of violence. You have unleashed the mob.
Yeah.
You have appealed to the darker side.
Yes.
Of human nature.
Yes.
To violence, to destruction of property, to anarchy, chaos, lack of order, right? Because you are advocating for the targeting for attack of a specific group. The moment you do that, the moment you unleash the mob,
what happens?
Discriminating society, you are disqualifying yourself as a useful, important, progressive leader.
Yeah.
No leader does that.
No leader does that.
No leader does
Unless
that.
you're like a horrible person.
Yeah, unless you are out of Hitler.
Yeah.
We have a lot of examples of dictators and demagogues who caused a lot of misery, a lot of suffering, a lot of death.
That's right.
A lot of destruction.
Who did exactly what Malema is doing.
Yes. But surprisingly enough, no one is willing to stop him.
Yeah.
No one is willing to say, well, you cannot cross certain boundaries.
Yeah.
You know, people just say, well, it's good for him to continue like that.
And that's quite dangerous, right?
People like that are dangerous. Yes, we do have freedom of speech.
Yes.
People should be able to express themselves freely.
Yes.
But I think there is supposed to be a limit in terms of when people start to say hateful stuff. What Malema is doing is literally hate speech.
Yes.
You know, it's hate speech. But the thing is that he has the majority on his side.
Yeah.
You see. But you don't run a society based on the majority. If you run the society based on a majority, you are a demagogue.
Yeah.
You run a society based on the law.
Yeah.
Right? Democracy, yes. Democracy, majority rule, yes. But it plays second fiddle to the law. The law is supreme. No one is above the law.
Yes. Okay. And the law is meant to protect everyone.
The law is meant to protect everyone.
Every single body.
Regardless of their place of origin, regardless of their sexual orientation, regardless of their political affiliation, regardless of their race or color, regardless of their religion,
or their nationality.
Belief, nationality or any of that. The law protects everyone. And the law operates on the assumption that everyone is equal.
Everyone is equal.
That's a foundational assumption of society.
I wouldn't say it's an assumption. I would say it's a fact.
It's a fact. It's an axiom. It's a truth.
Self-evident fact.
Yes.
One of those things you can't prove, but it's a truth.
Yes. We have agreed that everyone is equal.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yes.
So when Malema comes out and says the whites stole our land and we need to get our land back, we are going to expropriate land without compensation.
That's pretty messed up.
And kill the boer, kill the farmer. Right.
Yeah. And it also begs the question, what makes the land yours? You're a historian yourself, and I still remember on Africa Credo, there's this video that you posted about the timeline in which groups settled in that part of Africa that we now call South Africa, right?
Yeah.
And it is true that there some black groups got there later than the Boers.
Some black groups got to present day South Africa later. That area, that land originally was owned by the Khoi and the San people.
Okay.
The Khoi and the San are different from the Bantu. The Bantus who migrated north during the Mfecane and at some period migrated south from Central Africa. For an example, the Shona people in Zimbabwe are not originally from Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
They are originally from Tanzania.
Guru Uswa.
From the Guru Uswa region.
Yeah.
Where if you go today, that Guru Uswa region is still there. Guru Uswa means tall grass.
That's right. It's Shona.
It's Shona. It's not Swahili. It's Shona.
That's right. That's true. Yes.
Right. But so the Shonas migrated from Tanzania. You know, when I think Tanganyika, when it was called Tanganyika back then.
Yeah.
Down to where they stay in Zimbabwe today.
That's right.
Right. Same with all the Bantu people. At some point in time, there was a mass migration of Bantu people from Central Africa and West Africa, coming down, you know, to where they are today.
That's
Why?
right. Yeah.
Why were people migrating? People were always migrating in search for resources.
Yes.
Okay.
Food, water, salt.
Food, water, salt, land, pastures for their livestock.
Yeah, that's right.
And so forth.
Yeah.
So Africans were always moving.
Yeah.
okay, from one area to the other. And Africans originally were not pastoralists, so they were not agriculturalists.
They were pastoralists.
They were pastoralists. In other words, they kept a lot of animals, right? So, if you want to claim a piece of land based on the timeline in which you arrived at that land, the Boers, they got there in 1652.
1652, you say?
Yes.
That's a long time ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
Before America was founded. America started being settled by Europeans around 1620. Okay?
Wow.
From Britain and other European countries later. From Britain and Netherlands. You know, New York was originally inhabited by the Dutch.
New York?
Yeah.
New York City?
Yeah. It was originally inhabited by the Dutch.
I had no idea, man.
It was called New Amsterdam. And then it got changed to New York later when the British bought it from the Dutch.
That's interesting.
So at the time when New York was being occupied by the Dutch, around the same time, that is when Cape Town was also being occupied by the Dutch. Okay? And it's probable, it's highly probable that a lot of Bantu-speaking South Africans got to South Africa, to the present-day boundaries of South Africa, later than the Boers. You see, I'm not vouching for the whites. I'm merely stating historical facts.
Yes.
These are historical, geographical facts. These are not my opinions. Okay?
Yes.
So then that opens up a window for us to start to have a discussion and say, okay, do you claim a piece of land based on your race?
Yeah.
Do you claim a piece of land based on when you got there? Do you claim a piece of land? How do you, on what basis?
Or maybe you have some spiritual grounds, spiritual basis to it.
On what basis do you make a historical claim? Especially a historical. In present times, you claim the land based on ownership that is provable by title deeds.
That's right.
Right? And a receipt to say, I bought this land from Mr. Smith on 12 April 2022.
Yeah.
So this piece of land belongs to me. But before the creation of the, political economic order that we have today, before the introduction of the laws to which we make claims to property today, how can you claim and prove that that land was always yours? You see, these are questions that need to be put straight to Malema.
Yeah, they have to be asked to him.
He needs to come and sit there.
We need Malema here.
And have a conversation.
Come on,
with us.
Julius. Come over here. Let's
We
talk.
need to ask him that.
Yes.
Okay, how are you going to claim? Because what he does, like I told you, he claims to the... He attracts the emotional...
Yeah, the emotional part of you.
Yeah.
That makes you angry.
He speaks to the emotions of people. And as a politician, it's not a good way to go. That's not how you build a society.
You don't build a society like that. That's
people like that, people like Mao, people like Lenin, Vladimir Lenin, people like Hitler, people like Stalin in Russia.
That's what they used to do.
Caused mass genocides.
Because
they killed millions of people.
Yeah.
And the saying that he who does not know is damned to repeat it.
Yes, that's right. That's true. Yeah.
He doesn't know these historical facts.
No
He's
idea.
not studied them from an objective and independent perspective. He's being overly emotional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but when it comes to xenophobia, right, and we're talking about the Black South African community not liking the Zimbabwean community, the claim they make, most of them, is that the Zimbabweans, they come to South Africa, they are rapists and they steal, and some of them, I guess, they're good people, right?
Zimbabwe is not sending their best.
Exactly. Zimbabwe is not sending their best. So a lot of them, they're claiming victimhood from a lot of acts that Zimbabweans are doing, and some of these acts are not, acts that
So why
Zimbabweans
don't you let
would be proud of.
why don't you let the law take its course?
The justice system.
The justice system.
That's right.
Yeah. Just let the law do its job.
That's right.
It's not in your power to burn somebody alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just inexcusable. No matter how you you frame it in 2022, it's unacceptable
It's
for you to burn somebody alive. And,
very primitive.
And that person, actually, Elvis Nyati, did not do anything wrong. He was just murdered because he's a Zimbabwean, and that is all.
That's horrible, man.
Yeah.
That's still happening somewhere.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
It's crazy.